Flash flooding in London. Why is it likely to become a more frequent occurrence? Well, in 2021, on Monday the 12th of July and Sunday the 25th of July, saw many parts of London experience horrendous flash flooding. The preceding heatwaves provided the perfect conditions for intense summer storms to develop, and the resulting deluges of rainfall caused many streets to become rivers, left basements inundated and sewers overflowing. Although the floodwater will have subsided within a matter of hours, the impacts for the unfortunate residents and businesses affected will be felt for many months to come. Policymakers and the media often only consider the financial impacts of being flooded. However, there's huge emotional impact of having your home and belongings damaged and destroyed, along with the unexpected and unwarranted stress of organising and overseeing the repairs, and in some instances, needing to temporarily move elsewhere or even close a business. It can be a huge burden. So how do we ensure future flooding is less of a burden? Firstly, we need to understand how and why this flooding is occurring and why the impacts of these recent floods seems greater than previous flood events. The recent flooding in London has been a result of two combined factors: surface water flooding and sewer flooding. Surface water flooding occurs when runoff following heavy rainfall cannot drain away, causing water to accumulate at the surface. Sewer flooding occurs when drainage systems become overwhelmed, causing flows to back up and surcharge at the surface through gullies, manholes, and even internal private systems such as toilets, sinks, and showers. The volume of surface water runoff can cause sewers to become overwhelmed, and therefore these flood mechanisms often need to be considered together. This can also be exacerbated by a scenario called tide locking. The Victorian sewers were designed with an overflow outlet into the Thames to prevent surcharging. However, if the river level is high due to a high tide, the overflow outlets could be submerged, reducing their effectiveness. The risks of these types of flooding are typically far greater in urban areas for a number of reasons. Firstly, impermeable surfaces. Urban areas are predominantly impermeable, meaning rainfall cannot drain into the ground. But the problem's not just at the surface. In London particularly, huge basement developments have removed large volumes of soil, which would previously allow some runoff to percolate into the ground, but can no longer do so. At the same time, areas of existing urban green spaces have also declined, only adding to the problem. The nature of sewer systems can also prevent a problem. Modern developments use separate surface water sewers from foul water systems. However, the historic Victorian systems in many central London areas are combined systems, meaning they drain both surface water and foul water together. These sewer systems were not originally designed to cope with the volumes of runoff now being demanded of them, and as a result of both increases in rainfall and an increase of runoff from greater impermeable areas, they can't cope. Another aspect is poor maintenance. The extent and number of drains and gullies within urban areas means that clearance and maintenance may not occur as regularly as required. Blocked and silted up drains prevents water entering sewers and draining away, exacerbating flooding at the surface. All of these factors are now amplified by climate change. It's now widely acknowledged that the increased frequency and severity of intense rainfall events experienced across the world is almost certainly a result of changes to the climate. On the 12th of July 2021, parts of London experienced 48 millimetres of rainfall within 24 hours, greater than the region's average monthly rainfall for a July. These rainfall totals were dwarfed, though, by records elsewhere across the globe in 2021. In Western Germany, some gauges recorded 182 millimetres across a 3-day period, the equivalent of 2 months of rainfall, and it claimed at least 173 lives. The results have been described by some scientists as a 1 in 10,000 year event. In Henan province in China, over 600 millimetres fell in some areas within a single day, and some 200 millimetres within a single hour. Streets and subways were flooded, and the death toll stands at more than 30. As the impacts of climate change accelerate over the coming decades, the flooding problem in urban areas is only going to worsen unless the changes required to better manage rainfall and surface water runoff are implemented. Increasing sewer capacity is extremely expensive and disruptive, and may not have the desired effect if upgrades are not also provided holistically to gutters, downpipes, and gullies, as well as regular and proactive ongoing maintenance to ensure the systems remain clear. Increasing capacity may also only move the problem further downstream. But thankfully, there is an increasing desire and acceptance to use sustainable urban drainage systems to slow the flow and manage rainfall more naturally. Residents and businesses must also play their part by managing and maintaining their own drainage systems. By slowing the flow of water into the sewer network, the sewers are less likely to be overwhelmed. The key change will be using and implementing green infrastructure to work with nature rather than against it. This could have huge benefits for cities, not just in reducing flood risk, but also wider environmental benefits. Flooding of the nature experience in July 2021 is likely to become a more regular occurrence in urban areas worldwide. Flash flooding can occur anywhere with little warning, and therefore the time to act is now to ensure we're prepared for the next event. We'll be doing more of these videos to help raise awareness of flood risk and how to manage it. So don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you soon.